I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me.
What happens when two of K-pop's biggest stars start talking, not through song, but through silence and meaningful glances? This is the story of what was never told until it was. And trust us, it's not just gossip, it's the beginning of a quiet revolution in K-pop. TAEHYUNG and Jungkook are speaking out. Behind the show, there's something you can't see. Behind the glittering stage, behind the bright lights, there's a dark corner that few see. The world of K-pop has long been known for being neat, beautiful, and organized. Too perfect to be criticized. But a recent leaked video changes everything. Two of the faces of global K-pop, BTS's Taehyung, V, and Jungkook, are suddenly seen in an emotional conversation. But what's most surprising isn't just their emotions, it's the content of their conversation. They're talking about the truth, about something that's been kept hidden for so long. Not by their opponents, not by the public, but by their own home, HYB, the agency that raised BTS. And since then, the world has been asking, was everything we've seen just a stage show? An unheard but real rift. From the outside, BTS has always seemed solid, harmonious, supportive. But an industry insider says there's a rift that's starting to be felt, not because of conflict between members, but because of a disconnect between the artists and the agency. The little things give away clues. Sudden solo project decisions, overly packed schedules, and even vague remarks on live broadcasts. In the leaked video, Taehyung speaks candidly. I feel like I'm being sold, but I'm never asked for my opinion. Jungkook, with a silent expression, says simply, we're stars, but I feel like puppets being moved by strings. Those words are now echoing, and fans are starting to recall all the moments they thought were normal, which could actually be signs of an unseen resistance. Is HYB hiding something? Suspicions can no longer be contained. Public discussion has begun to focus on BTS's exclusive contract extension until 2027. At first it seemed like a sign of loyalty, but now questions arise. Was the decision made in complete openness? Did the BTS members really know all the clauses and their consequences? There are allegations that the members' creative rights, including the freedom to do solo projects, are being subtly restricted for the sake of the company. Some analysts even say there is an invisible hand that controls all release and promotion strategies. If that's true, then this is not just a betrayal, but a form of manipulation of young artists who have given their entire lives to music and fans. Now, many fans are looking back. Taehyung's posts that were suddenly deleted, his statements that felt like code, or Jungkook's silence when asked about the future, all begin to look like a puzzle that is now coming together. I want to talk, but it's not the right time, Jungkook said in an interview. And now, everything seems to have found its time. While BTS was on hiatus from military service, each member began releasing solo projects. ARMY was initially happy, but upon closer inspection, there was a suspicious pattern. Nearly uniform concepts, releases that were too close together, uneven promotions, projects that were supposed to reflect each member's personality instead felt like the result of one big template. Taehyung once said in an overseas interview, I want to explore my own music, but sometimes I have to adjust to a predetermined plan. That statement used to sound neutral. Now, it feels like a soft cry that is never really heard. At this point, ARMY are no longer just fans. They are a social force. Hashtags like #ProtectTaehyung and #JusticeForJungkook dominate global trends. Online forums explode with discussion. Some fans are calling for a transparency audit of HYB. There is even the idea of forming an independent agency to oversee the Korean entertainment industry. Their voices are unified. We love BTS, not the company. We support the members, not the system. What will happen next? Will BTS stay under HYB until 2027 and fight for change from within? Or will they choose a more radical path, establishing their own agency, free from the constraints of the old system? And HYB, Will they open the door to open dialogue or fall back into old patterns, silence, avoidance, and covering up cracks with promotional glitz? Meanwhile, after the first storm subsided, the atmosphere in the K-pop industry has yet to return to normal. The public is waiting, the media is watching, and fans are still restless. HYB, which has always been known to be skilled at building an image and managing narratives, has instead chosen to remain silent. There has been no clarification, no denial, not even a single form of acknowledgement of the disappointment that has quietly grown in the hearts of fans. Interestingly, however, industry observers have begun to speak up. Several former entertainment agency employees, senior musicians, and South Korean pop culture analysts have begun to point out that this phenomenon is nothing new. It's just that it's only now being openly revealed. So far, many artists have felt like they don't have a voice. But BTS is no ordinary artist. They have mass, influence, and courage. If they start speaking, the world will listen, said one senior music observer in an interview with local media. It is no coincidence that TAEHYUNG and JUNKKOok are now at the forefront. They are two members who are known to love art, music, and freedom of expression. The closeness of the two, which until now was only considered a regular bromance by the public, has now turned into a symbolic power. Fans began to realize that there was a similar pattern between them. Both of them often seemed quieter lately, more selective in appearing on social media, and more often speaking in metaphors when talking about their careers, as if they were conveying something, but could not directly. Now, after the leaked video, everything seems to make more sense. taekook is not just two BTS members. They are the first voices of a wave of change that may be coming. After this news spread, various international fan communities began to examine more deeply the training system and artist contracts in South Korea. From long contracts, restrictions on personal activities, full control over social media, to unequal royalty distribution, all are back in the spotlight. Many consider that the work scheme behind the K-pop industry emphasizes image too much compared to identity. Too busy selling dreams, and forgetting that behind every song and choreography, there is a human being who can be tired, disappointed, and hurt. And when those people start speaking out, the system that was once considered perfect begins to falter. Will BTS change the course of history? One big question now hangs in the air. Is this the beginning of the end for BTS under HYB? Not because they're going to disband. There's no sign of that. But they're likely to start planning their own future. Maybe by forming an independent agency, maybe by choosing a freer music distribution path, or maybe by opening up collaborations outside of the conventional K-pop system. What's clear is that trust is a hard foundation to build, and even harder to restore. And if that trust is broken, BTS has the right to chart a new course. ARMY doesn't need official clarification to know who they trust. They've seen the tears, heard the meaningful silences, and felt that their idols are more than just stage performers. They're individuals. So when voices start to merge, in the form of hashtags, fan-made videos, even petitions demanding artist rights protection, it's not because fans want to bring down HYB, but because they want to make sure that BTS, the people who have brought so much happiness to the world, don't live in an invisible prison. We're not against the company. We just want our artists to be treated properly, as human beings, not as products. This sentence, which came from a large fan-based community in Europe, has now gone viral on social media. What started as a single video has now developed into an identity crisis for the K-pop industry. A battle between the old system and the courage of the new generation to say enough. And in this maelstrom of change, TAEHYUNG and JUNKKOok stand in the middle, not as victims, but as pioneers. They never explicitly called for war, but they're no longer silent either. And that's what makes everything change.